I changed the oil in this new mower after only 30 minutes. And then I sent off the oil to Blackstone Labs to find out exactly what was floating around inside. Was that early break-in oil change worth it, or was I just wasting oil? Hey guys and gals, welcome to Garage Gear. I'm JB. So this is a follow-up to my Dirty 30 engine break-in on this Briggs Stratton 163cc engine. If you missed it, I changed the oil after just 30 minutes of runtime because I wanted to get all those initial break-in particles out early. And then I sent the oil out to Blackstone Labs, and just so we're clear here, I'm not a tribologist. I don't study wear, friction, and lubrication. That's above my pay grade. But I did take the results I got back, then plugged them into ChatGPT to make them easier for you, the average viewer, to understand. One result actually surprised me. Let's dive in here. Let's start with the wear metals first. Kicking it off with iron because this is one of the biggest indicators of engine wear. Iron comes from things like cylinder walls, crankshafts, and internal steel parts. My result here came in at 11 parts per million. And by the way, all elements here, unless stated otherwise, are listed as parts per million. The average here is 15. That's actually a really good sign. Even during break-in, this engine came in below average, which tells me internal steel components seem healthy and we're not seeing any excessive wear. So far, so good. Next up, aluminum. Aluminum was a little higher. Mine came in at 33, and the average is around 30. Now, before everybody freaks out, this is actually normal for a brand new engine. Aluminum actually comes from piston wear and other internal components during engine break-in. Think of it like this. The engine is basically sanding itself smooth internally during those first few hours. Tiny microscopic amounts of metal wear off while everything breaks in. So this makes total sense here that it's a little high. And to help this video go a little higher with the YouTube algorithm, would you mind hitting that like button? Thank you very much. Silicone's up next, and here's a number that jumped out at me. Mine came in at 37, but the average is 10. Whoa, that's almost 4 times the amount. I know. And at first glance, that sounds terrible because high silicone levels can sometimes mean that dirt is somehow getting its way inside the engine. But on a new engine like this, Blackstone says that this is most likely leftover assembly sealers, gasket material, and factory lubricants. Basically leftovers from when the engine was built. So right now, I'm not worried about this number. The next oil sample is what matters. We want to see this number come down. Now lead. Lead was slightly elevated too. Mine came in at 5. The average is around 2. But during break-in, I found out that slightly elevated lead levels are pretty common. Bearings inside the engine are still seating and getting comfortable. So the last 3 items, aluminum, silicone, lead, were all higher than normal. And this was during the first 30 minutes of the engine break-in. I don't know, that says something to me. Copper is up next, and this one actually came in lower than average. Interesting. From what I found, low copper is a good sign. That means we're not seeing unusual wear from internal bronze components or bushings. Good to know. Now let's talk about what I think is the second most important thing here, the oil condition or viscosity. Viscosity is basically the thickness of the oil. This oil is supposed to fall between 60 and 72. Mine came in at 58.1, so slightly thinner than expected. Now just to clarify here, Blackstone specifically said this wasn't concerning. These air-cooled engines work the oil pretty hard during break-in. We also don't have signs of fuel contamination lowering the viscosity. Keep in mind, this engine only got 30 minutes of runtime, so slightly thin, yes. Something to worry about? Nope. Next up, fuel contamination. This came in at less than 0.5%. That's excellent. Basically, there's no signs that this engine is dumping excess fuel into the oil, which can happen with carburetor problems and rich running engines. Along with that, flashpoint. Think of flashpoint like this. Oil naturally burns at a certain temperature. If gas gets mixed into the oil, that temperature comes down. So if the flashpoint is still nice and high, that's a great sign that the engine isn't dumping excess fuel into the oil. We're at 460 degrees Fahrenheit, and Blackstone says you want greater than 390. So we're good there. And last thing worth noting, insolubles. These are basically like little dirt particles inside the oil. Mine came in extremely low. So other than metal wear particles they found in the oil actually stayed pretty clean overall. No cookie crumbs in there. So what is Blackstone actually telling us here? The engine looks healthy, That's good. No signs of major problems. Good as well. The oil basically did exactly what it's supposed to do. It captured the break-in material. Now, the big question. Was changing the oil after 30 minutes worth it? In my opinion, yes. Blackstone literally says elevated metals during break-in are expected. And if the engine is shedding material early on, why wouldn't you want to get that out sooner? Many mower brands and other outdoor power equipment manufacturers recommend changing the oil at the 5-hour mark. They usually state this in their owner's manuals. And based on this data, it already shows that we got a lot in there after just 30 minutes. So it makes a lot of sense to get it out. Now, is changing the oil after just 30 minutes absolutely necessary? Probably not. Will your mower explode if you don't? No. But this data makes a pretty good argument for an early oil change, especially if you plan to keep your lawnmower long term. Briggs Stratton, we need to talk, because your no oil changes needed thing sounds great in a marketing meeting, but after seeing actual metal floating around in the oil after break-in, I think I'll keep changing mine. Now take a look at this. This is the oil from that Dirty 30 oil change. I saved it and I let it sit in the corner of my workbench for the last 2-3 weeks. So it had time to just sit. And when I hold it up to the light, look at the gray tinge that is all along the bottom of the jar. That's all metal wear particles that sunk to the bottom of the oil. Do you really want that floating around in your engine? I don't. Now Blackstone was also nice enough to leave some comments here. Here's what they stated. It says, this is the first sample we've seen from a Briggs Stratton 163cc engine. So universal averages are currently based on similar Briggs Stratton lawnmower engines after 10 hours of oil runs. In comparison with those, iron, lead, and silicone are high for the short 30-minute run. Those aren't concerning finds though, they're expected. Break-in creates some extra wear metal, and silicone is from assembly sealers and lubes. We'll just look for those levels to drop and or stabilize over the next few samples. The viscosity is thin for 30W oil, but that's not a concern. Check back to build trends. So pretty cool of them to help clarify some results here. So I want to hear from you guys and gals. Would you change your mower oil after just 30 minutes? Or are you waiting till the first 5-hour mark, or when the first season is over? Let me know down below in the comments. Also, if you have some information to share on these results, feel free to let me know. Again, I'm not a tribologist, but I did my best to break this all down. And if you'd like to see the original Dirty 30 oil change on this lawnmower, I'll have that video linked down below in the description. If you want to be part of the tribe, subscribe. And for more cool garage gear content, click or tap the screen right here. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the garage.